If you are in a hurry, you should probably avoid the Wildlife Loop Road in Custer State Park. We got in this bison jam just before reaching the Wildlife Loop Road near the east entrance to the park on Highway 36. So, while we wait for the jam to clear, let me tell you a little about the park. Custer State Park is a large park in southwestern South Dakota. It is about 30 miles south of Rapid City and also just south of Mount Rushmore. The park is South Dakota's largest and first state park, established in 1919. As you might suspect, it is named after Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer, who led an army expedition to the Black Hills in 1874. Members of his party discovered gold, leading to a gold rush and the establishment of all the nearby towns of the Black Hills. The park now covers an area of 71,000 acres and includes rolling prairie grasslands as well as the rugged granite peaks of the Black Hills. Custer State Park features a variety of accommodations and attractions, including a visitor center, 4 lodges, cabins, campgrounds, convenience stores, restaurants, recreation equipment rentals such as canoes, kayaks, and paddleboards, as well as hiking and horseback trails and guided tours. There's even an outdoor theater featuring original plays. There is an entrance fee of $20 per vehicle, but the fee covers you for 1 week. You can also buy an annual park pass for South Dakota parks if you're interested. If the rangers are not on duty when you enter the park, the fee is self-service. Just stick your copy in the lower right-hand corner of your windshield. One of the best features of Custer State Park are the scenic drives, including the 18-mile Wildlife Loop Road, which more or less encompasses the southern half of the park. We're going to start at the east and head toward the west end of the loop and join up with Highway 87. This bison jam had about 200 animals, but there are more than 1,000 bison roaming freely in a large portion of Custer State Park. 200 years ago, there were millions of bison, but the U.S. government posted bounties in the 1800s that helped bring about their near extinction. The government's goal was to undermine the native people's way of life, forcing them to accept life on reservations. Fortunately, some bison survived, and thanks to zoos and private ranches, they have been reestablished in some areas, including Custer State Park and the nearby Wind Cave National Park. The bison in Custer State Park were brought here, and by now I've read that there are about 1,400 in the park as of 2021. In late September, the park has a buffalo roundup. Over 1,000 of the animals are branded, tested, and some are auctioned off. The roundup has become a local celebration. It includes an arts festival and is attended by over 10,000 people. These animals are commonly called buffalo, and I see nothing wrong with that, seeing as that's what they've been called by people in the United States for over 150 years. But purists may tell you that they are more properly called bison, because true buffalo species belong to a different genus and live in Asia and India. In fact, the American bison official genus species name is bison, bison, bison. Whatever you do, don't try to pet these fluffy cows. Though bison here might look tame, they're not. You should not approach them. In fact, you should not feed or disturb any wildlife in Custer State Park. In addition to bison, you may see mule deer, white-tailed deer, prairie dogs, and pronghorn. Mountain goats, elk, coyotes, bighorn sheep, river otters, and cougars are also inhabitants, though I didn't see any of those latter animals on our trips to the park. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and antelope play. The problem with that unofficial anthem of the West is there are no antelope in North America, at least not according to taxonomists. What we have are pronghorn. Antelope are native to Africa and Eurasia, but pronghorn are the only species in their own taxonomic family, which fill a similar ecological niche to the grassland species in the Eastern Hemisphere thanks to parallel evolution. The pronghorns seem to be built for speed, having a very light bone structure and long cushion-pointed toes, which help absorb shock while running at speeds up to 55 miles an hour, making them the fastest land mammal in the Western Hemisphere. Like bison, pronghorn were threatened with extinction due to overhunting and habitat loss until conservation efforts in the early 1900s helped to ensure their survival. Now there are between 500,000 and 1 million pronghorn in the American West. Another of our favorite animals to spot in Custer State Park is the prairie dog. There are actually 5 species of these rodents, but only the black-tailed prairie dog is found in Custer State Park. Prairie dogs are very important in grassland ecology. Their burrowing helps to aerate the soil and cycle nutrients. They feed primarily on grasses, while many predators feed on them in turn. They can hear low-frequency sounds, which makes them aware when you are walking around their burrows. They are most active during the day, though you won't see them during rain or snow events or on very hot days. The most interesting thing about prairie dogs is their language. Their whistles and chirps can actually communicate what sort of animal they are seeing and how fast it is approaching. I read one account that claimed they can even communicate things like the color of your shirt. They live in colonies that may have hundreds or even thousands of individuals. The Wildlife Loop Road is also a great place for bird watching. Here are just a few species that we spotted in early July. I really can't say enough about the beautiful wildflowers and plant life that you can see in Custer State Park along the Wildlife Loop Road. We were there in early July. Here are just a few of the species that we spotted. The Wildlife Loop Road is 18 miles long, and the speed limit is about 25 miles an hour for most of the way, so it will take you a while to make the entire trip. If you stop and take pictures like we did, it may take you an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours to complete, although I'm sure you could get through it in a shorter amount of time. But it's a great, great road trip, and I highly recommend it. Go early in the morning or late in the evening to see the best wildlife.